games, and he's glad to be back on familiar ground. Well, he's in an unchanged Newcastle side, still without the injured Peter Beardsley, of course, but David McCreary has passed a test on an ankle injury he picked up in the Northern Ireland Yugoslavia game and plays in the midfield. Mathematically, they still need another win coming to this game after a run of only one defeat in their last 11 matches. The biggest problem for the West Ham manager John Lyle's been to get together 11 fit men. What about this for an injury list? Alvin Martin, Liam Brady, Tony Gale, Paul Hilton, Alan Devonshire, Phil Parkes, George Paris, Jeff Pike, Neil Orr, Ray Stewart and Steve Walford. 10 of them all out injured. Steve Potts now comes into the right back position, Paul Ince into the midfield. And the referee today, it's Mike James of Horsham in West Sussex. And after a cloudy and pretty cool morning, as you can see, the sun has come out for the kickoff. Newcastle United in the stripes get us away, attacking the goal to our left. 24 points from their last 33 they've secured. A fantastic run has taken them off bottom place, and they are now as assured as anybody really can be of play in the First Division next season. And they'll certainly remember coming here last season. They lost 8-1 with a series of terrible injuries to the goalkeepers. Martin Thomas, who's in goal today, was injured, and then they had to replace him with Chris Hedworth and finally Peter Beardsley. But 8-1 they lost, and West Ham will be happy to get any sort of result, I would have thought, today, with really a makeshift side. Throw very quickly there for Newcastle United. It was Tommy McQueen who got it away for West Ham. And a free kick for Newcastle, taken quickly. Rhoda right up there. Gascoigne as well, Darren Jackson, and another free kick given away there by West Ham on the edge of the penalty area. Chance to float one in now for this. No doubt Tony Cunningham, 6 foot plus. Glenn Rhoda's in there as well. Donald with it. Jackson in as well, got the header in an overhead this time by Glenn Rhoda, and a goal kick. Tom McAllister will take it. There's Tony Cottee. Steve Potts getting that one away to Mark Ward. Dickens. Touched by McAvenny, and suddenly Dickens on the break. A chance here early on for West Ham. Missed it. A great break from the midfield by Alan Dickens, who previously had only scored 5 this season. And as Thomas came out, he slid it wide of him, but sadly for West Ham, also wide of the post. Bond getting the better of Bonds. Played nicely for Gascoigne. One man with a lot of power. Anderson trying, I know not what, but he's found Darren Jackson. My goodness, penalty. Tommy McQueen had his arms around Darren Jackson. I don't think there could have been a lot of argument about that. And the referee was right on the spot. And McQueen's indiscretion gives Newcastle the opportunity of going into the lead. Neil MacDonald, who scored 6 times this season, 4 times from the penalty spot. And Newcastle go into the lead. Their travelling fans are delighted. And with a little over 6 minutes gone, an early strike for Newcastle. It was a curious thing. Maybe the ball was caught swirling in the air, and that's what upset Tommy McQueen. But he certainly had his arms all around Darren Jackson. The referee perfectly placed and had no hesitation pointing to the spot, just as MacDonald had no hesitation completing the punishment. McAvenny charging into Rhoda, free kick to Newcastle. Then Rhoda knows these parts well. Before he played for Queen's Park Rangers, he had a spell just down the road at Orient. Cunningham versus Strada. Cunningham again winning it in the air. Nice, played nicely there. And Wharton is right in. And so close to getting another one for Newcastle United. Some lovely play by Goddard. And West Ham at the moment all over the place. Anderson playing it in. And Gascoigne just over. And West Ham at this moment being torn to shreds. And a lovely touch. Well, it was Gascoigne who put the last one over, but it was a splendid touch by Goddard that almost let Kenny Wharton in again. Again, Cunningham winning it in the air. There's the touch by Goddard. Here's Wharton backing up well. McAllister coming out, and he slid it under his body, but McAllister just got the vital touch to it. Ward. Robson, that's a West Ham throw. Markwood. Got the better of Gascoigne. Played short for Dickens. Oh, he looked as though he might have got Robson in there, and might still have done so. Robson having his cross charged down. Ward hammering it in. Dickens looking to get a left foot shot in, and no trouble there for goalkeeper Thomas. MacDonald. Goddard. Dickens' touch. McQueen to Ince. And out easily by Anderson, and an obstruction there, quite rightly given. Ward running into the path of Anderson. Referee wanting a word with Ward as he passes by. Free kick, floating and held on the air there. Goddard on the turn and stopped by McAllister. Could so easily have been another one. I almost expected to see that ball appearing underneath McAllister's body and in the back of the net, but he spread himself well and got it nicely at the second attempt. Ball goes in the air, it makes certain problems because it's quite a swirling breeze here at the moment. Good play by McAvenny, picking out Mark Ward, and now Cottee to take it up, and another penalty, yes, as Cottee is brought down, and Cottee is the penalty specialist for West Ham now that Ray Stewart's out of the side, as Ward plays it in and Cottee collects. The appeals were there, but by then the referee is already pointing to the spot. So can Cottee do what MacDonald did? Looking to make goal 29 of the season for him and an equaliser for West Ham. It's been saved by the keeper. Wasn't a very good penalty in all fairness. He's really annoyed with himself. A golden chance for West Ham to get back on level terms, and Martin Thomas, who went off injured quite early in the game when Newcastle lost 8-1 here last season, has happier memories of Upton Park now. Oh, Cunningham and Bonds getting very heavily involved there, and that's certainly unlike Bonds to react in quite that way. Beginning to think it was quite a nice, relaxing afternoon of football, and both sides out of trouble really at the bottom of the table now. But Bonds clearly felt that it was an infringement that caused a lot of pain to the 40-year-old West Ham skipper, and a booking for Tony Cunningham. And a free kick to West Ham. Oh, no lack of incident. And Newcastle still leading 1-0. Now for McAvenny, no. Billy Bonds, 41 years old in September. And 20-year-old Steve Potts, the local lad from Barking, who came up through the youth side. McQueen. Now who's going to go first to that one? Cunningham did! And might have done better than that. Fatal hesitation again in the West Ham defence. McAllister came not so far off his line. Bonds hadn't quite got the pace to get there. Cunningham hadn't got the direction. So 5 minutes of the first half remaining. It's Gascoigne again for Newcastle. Cunningham finding Jackson. Creary. Anderson, and a good shot and a fine save. Well, Tom McAllister, who's in for Phil Parks, who's had an operation on an elbow, and Phil won't play again this season. McAllister standing in so well with a very good save there. So Newcastle's first corner of the game. It's Gascoigne with it. Robson a little thick on there. Peter Jackson playing it in again. The flag is up for an offside against Paul Goddard. Certainly over in that far corner, the Newcastle fans, and there are plenty of them down here. They've had plenty to cheer, and it's very, you see in the far corner there, it's very well worth saying that their attendances this season at St James's Park are over 24,000 on average, up on last season. Strada playing it towards McAvenny again. Robson, Ward. Again, the challenge was swift and perfectly fair that time by Wharton. Tackling has been crisp by Newcastle and their play has been confident, just as we're seeing here now. Gascoigne getting it back, and they're all linking up so well and making each other available. Perfect example of a side playing with confidence there. The touch that time by Cunningham. Oh, and Goddard, a superb save again. And Goddard must have felt there was a chance certainly looming for him to score against his old club. But for the second time in a couple of minutes, Tom McAllister bringing off excellent saves. Potts getting in this time. And now Ward for West Ham. What a good first half it's been. 2 minutes of it left. Here's McAvenny. Now McQueen. Oh, and Robson in a bit of space there. And Cotty. Will he go all the way, looking to redeem himself after that missed penalty? But what a great piece of play at the other end, and some excellent play by Newcastle United. Spraying the ball about with such confidence, and finally it comes through to Paul Goddard. Played it just a little too close to the keeper. Dickens. Strada. Now the break is on for Newcastle. 4 are up, only 2 are back. Cunningham now finding Goddard. Ward's getting back if he can. It's still with Paul Goddard. Charged down by Strada. And Wharton's shot whizzing over that crossbar. Well, certainly when the Newcastle manager